Picture this. It's the middle of a WWE ring, and the Women's World Champion stands tall, a smirk of pure arrogance on her face after another dominant victory. The boos from the crowd are deafening, but she just laughs it off and grabs a mic. "Another one bites the dust," she screams. "Is there anyone left? Anyone in that locker room with the guts to face me?" The challenge just hangs there because, honestly, who is left? But it's this exact moment of overconfidence that creates the perfect opportunity for a new kind of predator, one nobody saw coming. Suddenly, the arena lights cut to black. A gasp ripples through the crowd. A single spotlight traps the champion in the ring. Then a new sound hits the speakers. Not music, but a low, rhythmic, almost cinematic hum. A figure emerges from the smoke on the entrance ramp. She's tall, athletic, and has this unnerving calm about her. As the camera zooms in, the commentators go quiet, trying to figure out who this is. She walks with a purpose that's both terrifying and mesmerizing. This wasn't part of the show. She wasn't supposed to be here. Born into Hollywood royalty, she was meant for a different life. But after a devastating injury and a rejection that would have broken anyone else, she came back. And she brought the pain with her. To understand the brutal artist she is today, you have to understand the hell she walked through to become her. For decades, the name Seagal meant one thing: bone-crunching Hollywood action. It was a brand built on Aikido, broken wrists, and blockbuster movies that defined an entire era. But the next chapter of that legacy wasn't being written on a movie set. It was being forged inside a wrestling ring. Arissa LeBrock was born into a world of unbelievable expectations. Her father, Steven Seagal, was an action icon. Her mother, Kelly LeBrock, a supermodel and 80s movie star. Growing up was a strange mix of Hollywood glamour and hardcore martial arts. Her father's legacy was all about untouchable fighting skill, while her mother's was about pure star power. But Arissa wanted to carve out her own path. Long before the wrestling world even knew her name, she stepped into her mother's world, but on her own terms, becoming a successful plus-size model. She used her platform to champion body positivity and smash industry standards. But while she was making waves on the runway, her father's world was always there. She had a deep, legitimate background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a skill she took very seriously, even winning medals in competition. This combination of charisma and combat expertise made her a fascinating prospect, and in December 2019, the biggest sports entertainment company in the world gave her a call. She was invited to a multi-day tryout at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. This is the call every aspiring wrestler dreams of. The Performance Center is a state-of-the-art factory for creating WWE superstars, but it's also a meat grinder designed to push athletes to their absolute limits. For Arissa, the pressure was immense. In wrestling, a famous last name paints a giant target on your back. She wasn't just another athlete, she was the daughter of a legend, ready to prove she was more than a name. She powered through the grueling drills, the exhaustion, and the pain. The coaches were reportedly impressed. She had the look, the pedigree, and the legitimate skills. A contract felt like it was just a matter of time, and then, in an instant, it all fell apart. The world of professional wrestling can be a cruel and unforgiving business. One misstep, one bad landing, can end a career before it even starts. During the intense drills of the tryout, that nightmare became Arissa's reality. She suffered a devastating injury. The specifics were never publicly released, but the result was clear. The WWE opportunity was gone. There was no contract, no follow-up call, just silence. This rejection was tough, but the injury itself was even more terrifying. The physical pain was bad enough, but the psychological toll was worse. Doctors gave her the kind of news no athlete ever wants to hear. Whispers of a grim diagnosis grew, one that felt like a death sentence for her dream. She might never walk properly again, let alone step back into a wrestling ring. For most people, that would have been the end, a tragic story of what could have been. Arissa fell into a dark place, admitting later she had become comfortable in the darkest, worst place in my life. The dream she'd worked so hard for was now seemingly impossible. Online, the whispers grew. Was she just another celebrity kid who couldn't handle the grind? The shadow of her father's legacy, once an inspiration, now felt like a crushing weight. How could the daughter of an untouchable action hero be so broken? She had hit rock bottom, her ambitions shattered, and her body failing her. It was in that darkness that she had to make a choice. Let the story end there, or start the hardest chapter of her life. Fate, as it sometimes does, intervened with a phone call. The man on the other end was Dustin Rhodes, the natural, a wrestling legend who has seen it all. A man who understands legacy, pressure, and reinvention better than almost anyone. Dustin saw past the injury and the famous name. He saw the flicker of a fire that hadn't quite gone out. He offered her a lifeline, an invitation to his gritty, old-school training facility in Texas, the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Arissa made a life-altering choice. She left her life in California and moved to Austin, ready to be rebuilt from the ground up. This wasn't the polished corporate world of the WWE Performance Center. This was a sweat-stained gym where respect is the only currency. Here, she wasn't Steven Seagal's daughter. She was just another student. Mornings started with brutal cardio, and afternoons were spent in the ring, where Dustin drilled her on fundamentals, taking bumps, running ropes, and learning to tell a story without saying a word. But this wasn't just a recovery. It was a total transformation. Arissa began to fuse her deep knowledge of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with the psychology of pro wrestling. She also quietly started to incorporate the art of her father, Aikido. It's a style based on leverage and using an opponent's own momentum against them, a style completely alien to modern American wrestling. She channeled all the pain, rejection, and frustration into this new hybrid style. It was brutally efficient, grounded, and terrifyingly real. Dustin Rhodes saw the change himself, stating in an interview, "She's doing a great job, but this is only the beginning for her. Pretty soon the whole world's going to be talking about Arissa LeBrock." After months of grueling work, she made her official in-ring debut in March 2023, not in a massive arena, but at a Rhodes Wrestling Academy student showcase. In front of a small local crowd, she stepped through the ropes, no longer a prospect, but a professional wrestler who had earned her place. But that was just the beginning. She was now ready for the stage that had once turned her away. So let's go back to that WWE arena. The champion stands shocked as the mysterious figure slides into the ring. The lights come up. The commentator's voice drops to a whisper. "Wait a minute. That's Arissa LeBrock." The champ, annoyed and overconfident, shoves Arissa, but she doesn't budge. The champion lunges, and in a blur of motion, Arissa sidesteps, captures her arm, and uses the champion's own momentum to send her crashing to the mat with a classic Aikido wrist lock and foot sweep. The crowd gasps. Arissa stands over the fallen champion, her expression cold and empty. She didn't come here to play wrestler. She came to deliver a message. Legacy isn't just about your parents. It's about what you're willing to endure to build your own. Now, while this dramatic confrontation remains a tantalizing what-if for the WWE Universe, Arissa LeBrock's real-life journey is no less compelling. Her documented tryout, the injury setback, and her incredible comeback through the Rhodes Wrestling Academy are all very real. She has forged her skill set in the fires of legitimate training, proving she is more than ready for a global stage. As of August 2025, the real women's world champion is the incredible Naomi, who is at the top of her game after winning the title at Evolution and retaining it at SummerSlam. But the wrestling world is always looking for the next game changer. The question isn't if Arissa LeBrock has the tools to succeed, but when she will get the chance to unleash them in a WWE ring. And when she does, will she bring the kind of brutal, martial arts-infused realism that we've imagined here tonight? What do you think? Is Arissa LeBrock the future of the women's division? And who would you want to see her face in her debut? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story of resilience and rebirth, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of professional wrestling.